Have you ever stood in a darkened foyer and felt an inexplicable presence, as though someone from another time were quietly lingering by your side? Today I invite you to explore the extraordinary and slightly eerie world of Rudolph Valentino's former mansion, a place where romance, Hollywood glamour, and whispers of the supernatural intertwine. We're stepping back into the golden age of silent film, where Valentino reigned as the ultimate heartthrob, and his grand estate was said to be filled with both timeless love and restless spirits. Rudolph Valentino was often called the Latin lover of the silver screen. His intense gaze and graceful poise swept audiences off their feet, making him one of the most sought-after actors of the 1920s. Yet behind the adoring crowds and gleaming marquee lights, Valentino led a life brimming with personal strife and longing. He had a short but tumultuous career that ended all too soon when he passed away at just 31. It's said that his untimely death left something unfinished, not only in the hearts of his countless admirers, but perhaps even within the very walls of his home. That home, nicknamed Falcon Lair, perched high in the Hollywood Hills, looked every bit as dramatic as the star who owned it. Valentino purchased the estate in 1925, longing for a sanctuary away from the prying eyes of the press. Legend goes that he fell in love with the property's secluded charm, majestic views, and the chance to create an exotic retreat that would reflect his unique taste. At first glance, the exterior was a nod to Spanish-style architecture: stucco walls, vibrant red roof tiles, and graceful archways leading into tranquil courtyards. The grand entrance was framed by tall palm trees and blooming bougainvillea, all of it carefully designed to dazzle guests from the moment they arrived. Stepping inside, you'd find a fusion of old-world European flair and the breezy elegance of California living. Valentino wanted the interior to be richly textured and full of personality. Carved wooden doors opened onto a grand foyer with polished marble floors, a lofty ceiling, and a curving staircase that seemed tailor-made for dramatic entrances. Cast-iron sconces lit the hallways with a gentle glow, setting a romantic tone that matched perfectly with Valentino's screen persona. Plush rugs from the Middle East, ornate tapestries from Italy, and antique French furnishings offered glimpses of his cosmopolitan soul and love for collecting beautiful artifacts. Visitors often remarked that it felt as though they had stepped not just into a Hollywood mansion, but into a far-off palace where Valentino was the reigning prince. One of the home's highlights was a sumptuous living room, spacious yet intimate, with windows capturing the sweeping vista of Los Angeles below. Day or night, Valentino's friends would gather there for spirited conversations, surrounded by deep velvet couches and oversized cushions arranged on hand-woven carpets. A massive stone fireplace, accented by Moorish tiles, served as the focal point on chilly evenings. Valentino himself was known to entertain with genuine warmth, whether hosting a small soiree for fellow stars or a casual afternoon gathering for close friends. Charlie Chaplin, Gloria Swanson, and even John Barrymore were rumored to have sipped champagne under those towering ceilings, discussing everything from their latest film roles to the changing landscape of Hollywood. But it was Valentino's second wife, Natasha Rambova, who brought her own artistic flair to Falcon Lair. Natasha was a gifted costume and set designer, dramatic, fashionable, and every bit as passionate as Valentino. She had a keen eye for bold patterns and daring color schemes, adding layer upon layer of visual intrigue to the mansion's rooms. Some say she introduced exotic pieces of furniture that hailed from Spain or Morocco, bright textiles with geometric motifs, and metallic accents that reflected light in surprising ways. Their marriage, however, was complicated, filled with great highs of creativity and love, but also disagreements and misunderstandings, many of which played out behind these opulent walls. After their eventual separation, the mansion seemed to hold the residual energy of dreams that never fully came to fruition, turning its corridors into silent witnesses of love lost. In the midst of all the grandeur, rumors began swirling. Strange noises in vacant rooms, footsteps echoing through the halls at night, and the uneasy sensation of being watched. Caretakers and guests alike would speak in hushed tones of sightings of a solitary figure dressed in black, who vanished the moment anyone came near. Some claimed to recognize the angular cheekbones and graceful posture as that of Valentino himself. The staff insisted they heard faint music from a distant phonograph, even though no record player was in use. And more than one visitor swore they felt a warm breath on their shoulder when alone in certain upstairs rooms. These tales of hauntings grew stronger after Valentino's sudden death in 1926. His passing left the film world in shock. How could such a vibrant spirit be extinguished so swiftly? Thousands attended his funeral, and legends claim that in the midst of their grief, friends were greeted by flickering lights back at Falcon Lair, a silent tribute from the man who had once dwelt there. Over time, the house changed ownership. It even caught the eye of the socialite and philanthropist Doris Duke, though she too eventually moved on. Despite the transitions, the mansion's reputation for being haunted persisted. It became a favorite topic for Hollywood lore enthusiasts, writers, and ghost hunters who longed to catch a glimpse of the silent film idol still walking his beloved halls. Part of what made Falcon Lair so intriguing was that it captured both sides of Valentino's persona. On the one hand, it was every bit as flamboyant and grand as his screen roles demanded. On the other, it bore the sensitive marks of a man who sought solitude and shared genuine warmth with friends. The library was a prime example of this softer side. Valentino had shelves full of philosophy books, poetry, and works on travel. Comfy armchairs sat near wide windows overlooking the city, inviting long afternoons of quiet reading. This intimate space was worlds away from the glitz of Hollywood sets and paparazzi flashbulbs. It was, perhaps, his real haven, a place where Rudolph Valentino could be himself, vulnerable and contemplative. And then there was the mirrored ballroom. Yes, Valentino took his entertaining seriously, and rumor has it he had a particular fondness for tango and other sultry dances. He wanted a space where he could lose himself in the music, where guests could swirl around to the rhythms of the era. Imagine the scene: men in tuxedos, women in beaded gowns, the reflection of candlelight glimmering off mirrored walls as they danced late into the night. People said Valentino would command the floor with effortless grace, guiding his partner with a dramatic flair that mirrored his on-screen performances. To this day, some claim they've glimpsed a spectral couple dancing in that very room, the faint strains of a far-off band lingering in the air. Of course, the love story frozen in time is the central thread that weaves throughout these halls. Valentino's life was short, filled with longing for genuine connection, and overshadowed by a relentless Hollywood machine that demanded constant publicity. While he succeeded in captivating millions, he never found lasting peace and romance. That heartbreak, many believe, infused the mansion with a sort of yearning energy that endures to this day. Natasha Rambova herself experienced turbulent emotions within these walls, swinging between devotion and frustration, feelings that some say remain imprinted in the very air of Falcon Lair. In the decades after Valentino's death, the house underwent various renovations. Certain elements of the original structure have vanished or been reimagined, and parts of the estate have been parceled off to meet modern real estate demands. Yet those who care about Hollywood's history cling to tales of hidden passageways, secret rooms, and leftover sets from Valentino's unfinished home movies. Every so often, a caretaker or real estate agent will come forward with a new ghostly account. A piano playing faintly by itself in the salon, muffled voices coming from an empty courtyard, or that lingering smell of Valentino's favorite cologne floating down the second-floor hallway. While Falcon Lair is far from the only Hollywood home with ghost stories attached to it, there's something uniquely poignant about Valentino's tale. Perhaps it's the romance that never fully blossomed, or the potential he carried that was cut tragically short, leaving fans and friends yearning for more. Perhaps it's the way the silent film era itself feels haunted now, with images of stars flickering in black and white, here for a moment and then gone. Some visitors to Falcon Lair speak not so much of fear, but of a gentle melancholy, as though the house stands in a perpetual twilight, caught between the vibrant past and the solemn present. Yet for all the rumors of hauntings, one can't overlook the sheer beauty that defined this estate. The gardens, initially laid out with fragrant roses, neatly trimmed hedges, and ornate fountains, were a testament to Valentino's vision. He wanted a piece of Europe right here in Southern California, a place where he could stroll at sunset, hearing the gentle ripple of water and inhaling the perfume of night-blooming jasmine. The terrace was the perfect spot for alfresco dining, offering sweeping views of the city lights below. Valentino reportedly loved to sit there, sipping a glass of wine while discussing upcoming film ideas, or simply sharing a quiet moment with his closest companions. Over time, many famous names found their way through those arched doorways. Stories abound of grand Hollywood parties, with costumes, elaborately staged theme nights, and of course, Valentino's mesmerizing dance performances. His good friend Douglas Fairbanks might show up, ready to regale everyone with tales of his latest swashbuckling film. Gloria Swanson, known for her intense presence on screen, was rumored to have stayed for entire weekends, savoring the mansion's retreat from the limelight. Some nights, the biggest star in attendance might have been the full moon above, illuminating the courtyard, while guests danced to live orchestras, echoing through the hills. For all its allure, Falcon Lair never truly escaped being overshadowed by Valentino's legendary passing. The heartbreak that clings to its story is as much about the lost potential of an actor who was on the cusp of even greater fame, as it is about a home that stands as a silent monument to his dreams. It's as though the mansion itself yearns for its one-time occupant to return, to finish the dance he started, to give the farewell that was never uttered. That's precisely why so many believe Valentino never really left. Even if the structure has changed, the spirit of that era, and possibly the spirit of Valentino himself, remains woven into every stone. So how about you? Do you believe that a home can hold on to the emotions and energies of its past residents, especially someone as passionate and larger than life as Rudolph Valentino? Would you dare step into those hushed hallways after dark, hoping to catch a glimpse of the silent film icon? Let me know what you think. And if you've enjoyed this journey into one of Hollywood's most romantic and haunted locales, I'd be delighted to have you join this growing community of classic film lovers. Feel free to subscribe. You won't want to miss our upcoming explorations of other iconic homes and the captivating stories they continue to share. Thank you for spending this time with me, and I look forward to our next adventure together. Until then, keep the magic of old Hollywood alive in your hearts, and remember that sometimes the brightest lights cast the longest shadows.